energy flow. Except for the deep sea hydrothermal ecosystem, sun is the only source of energy for all ecosystem on Earth. Of the incident solar radiation, less than 50% of it is photosynthetically active radiation power. We know that plants and photosynthetic bacteria fix such radiated energy to make food from simple inorganic materials. Plant capture 2 to 10% of the power, and this amount of solar energy sustains the entire living world. So it is very important to know how the solar energy captured by the plants follow through different organisms of an ecosystem. All organisms are dependent for their food on the producer either directly or indirectly. Further, ecosystems are not exempt from the second law of thermodynamics. They need a constant supply of energy to synthesize the molecule they require to counteract the universal tendency toward increasing disorderliness. The green plants in the ecosystem are called producer. In the terrestrial ecosystem, major producers are herbaceous and woody plants. Likewise, the producers in the ecosystem are various species like phytoplankton, algae, and higher plants. You read about the food chain and the web that is used in nature. Starting from the plants or producer food chain or other webs are formed such that an animal feeds on plants or another animal and in turn is food for another. The chain or web is formed because of this interdependency. More know that energy that is trapped into an organism remains in it forever. The energy trapped by the producer hence for the either pass on to a consumer or the organism. The date of organism is the beginning of the detritus food chain web. All animals depends on plant directly or indirectly for their food needs. They are hence called consumers and also heterotrophs. If they feed on or produce the plant, they are called primary consumer, and if the animal eat other animal which in turn eat the plants or their produce, they are called secondary consumer. Likewise, you would have tertiary consumer. Obviously, the primary consumer will be the herbivores. Some common herbivores insect bugs and mammals in terrestrial ecosystem and mollusks in aquatic ecosystem. The consumer that feed on this of herbivores are carnivores, or more correctly primary carnivores through secondary consumer. Those animals that depend on the primary consumer for food are labeled secondary consumer. A grazing food chain is depicted below. Grass producer or growth primary consumer, main secondary consumer. Detritus food chain. The detritus food chain begins with dead organic matter. It is made up of decomposer, which are heterotrophic organisms, mainly fungi and bacteria. They meet their energy and nutrient requirement by the grading dead organic matter detritus. These are also known as saprotrophs. Separate to decompose. Decomposers secrete digestive enzymes that break down dead and waste material into simple inorganic material which are subsequently absorbed by them. In an aquatic ecosystem, GFC is the major conduit for energy flow. Against in a terrestrial ecosystem, a much larger fraction of energy flows to the detritus food chain through the GFC. The detritus food chain may be connected with the grazing food chain at some levels. Some of the organisms GFCs are prey to GFC animal and in the natural ecosystem. Some animals like cockroaches, crows are omnivores. This natural interconnection of food chain makes it a food web. Organisms occupy a place in the natural surrounding or in a community according to their feeding relationship with the other organisms. Based on the source of the nutrition of organism occupies specific place in the food chain that is known as the trophic level. Producer belong to first trophic level, herbivorous primary consumer to the second, and carnivorous secondary consumer to the third. The important point to note is the amount of energy decreases as a trophic level when an organism that it is converted to detritus of their mass. The sub-base energy source for decomposing organism at each trophic level depend on this at lower trophic level for their energy. The mass each trophic level has a certain mass of living material at a particular time called as the standing crop. The standing crop is measure of the mass of living organism, biomass, or the number in a unit area. The biomass of a species is expressed in terms of S or dry weight. The total biomass in terms of dry weight is more accurate. The number of tropical level is the grazing position is a transfer of energy follows 10%. Only 10% of the energy transferred to each tropic level from the lower tropic level. In nature, it is possible to have so many level producer herbivores, primary carnivores, secondary carnivore in the grazing food chain.